Hey guys, it's Jen and welcome back to Janessa Travels. Now it has been a very long time in between current videos, so I thought I would provide everyone with a little bit of an update as to what's been going on. Just to give you an idea of the timeline with regards to the videos I've already posted. Nico and I started traveling in April of 2023. Now, when we first went to Thailand, we originally went on a 30-day visa. Not only was that the only available visa to us at the time, but we also had to be back in Melbourne for a court date for Nico. About a week before our 30-day visa expired, I had a bright idea and thought to myself, I wonder if maybe the legal representation that Nico's hired for this court date, maybe they can represent him in court. We drafted a email to his solicitor, and sure enough, his solicitor said, yep, no problem. So enjoy the rest of your holiday. So we did end up back in Koh Samui. We did end up traveling around Thailand a little bit more. In total, we spent 60 days in Thailand, which led up to the video where we didn't get our Vietnam visa approved in time, and we ended up being in Cambodia, which was absolutely amazing and turned out to be a really, really big blessing in disguise. After Thailand, there's not a whole lot of footage. I think by that point, I had kind of given up on my whole YouTube idea. We ended up staying in Cambodia for, I believe it was 19 days. It was an incredibly spiritual experience for both of us. Neither of us had any idea what we were getting ourselves into going there. Obviously, we don't speak the language. Neither of us had ever been there. The people were incredibly friendly. Everything was pretty cheap. It was not unlike most of the other countries I've been to in Southeast Asia in that we felt quite safe. People were very willing to help us. We did a lot of really amazing things. We started out in Phnom Penh. We were only there for a couple of days. We went to the killing fields. We went to S21, which was where they kept the prisoners before they would send them to the killing fields to their deaths. After Phnom Penh, we went to Sanakville, I think I'm saying it right, which is a city on the coast. So we stayed in the ocean. I got the whole beach to myself. What started out as a beautiful sunny morning is now turning into this. We stayed in Sanakville for a couple of days, and then we went to a little island called Koh Rong. The island has barely any infrastructure, hardly any vehicles. It was pissing down rain. Everything was muddy. The locals obviously were just used to it because they, you know. just were living life like it was normal. I suppose it is for them. So that was interesting. It was what we wanted though, because with infrastructure comes surveillance and everything that goes along with it. It was really nice to get out of the big cities and have some fun on an island for a while.
Hello. Good morning. Hello.
However, Nico ended up getting really incredibly sick the second day that we were in Koh Rong. We ended up renting a motorbike. We went on a little excursion around the island, not having any idea where we were going. We spent a couple hours doing this and it was a really hot day. I think it was like 38 degrees or something. And shortly after we pulled away from the bike rental place, Nico stopped the bike with me in the back of it and he bounced up and down a little bit and he said to me, "Do you feel that?" And I said, "Feel what?" And he said, "Does the tire feel flat to you?" So I got off the bike and had a look. It seemed not flat, I guess. It seemed normal, whatever that means. So I just said, "No, I don't think it's flat," and I got back on the bike. Well, sure enough, 10 minutes later, the tire blows out. So we're kind of standing there on the side of the road thinking, what the hell are we gonna do? So this tourist drove by and he must have seen us from afar because as he pulled closer to us, he slowed down a little bit. He had a big backpack on. He had a bag in between his legs where his feet went because he was on a scooter as well. He had a yoga mat on the back as well. So the guy was loaded up. Like he didn't really have room to take anyone. But he could see that we were broken down on the side of the road and we needed some help. He had a little chat about it and we decided that I was gonna wait with a bike and he was gonna take Nico back to the place where we rented the moped from to get help from them.
We got a flat tire in the smallest island ever in Cambodia. And now I'm standing on the side of the street by myself. Because my boyfriend went to get help. Wish me luck.
So 10 minutes turns into 20 minutes. 20 minutes turns into a half an hour.
Well, I've been waiting here almost half an hour now. And it's really fucking hot.
A half an hour turns into 45 minutes. It was really hot out there. I was getting a bit worried. Not so much that I was gonna get stuck out there because there were, a fair few people driving by and also I could see a road that I might be able to go down to get help if I really needed it.
What if he doesn't come back? What if he can't find me? I'm gonna die in the jungle. I'm just kidding. There's lots of people driving by. It's fucking hot though.
So then I'm like, okay, well, do I leave the bike here and go looking for help? Because then I'm worried, what if something happens to the bike? Then we're gonna be liable for the bike. And what if I go off walkabout and then he gets back here and the bike is here and I'm gone? He's gonna think that somebody kidnapped me So anyway, they came back, all's well that ends well. Nico was also trying to get the phone number from the guy who had rescued us. What ended up happening was Nico ended up taking the guy's number down wrong. And when we went back to the resort, we realized that the phone number was missing a digit. We felt terrible because, this guy had gone out of his way to help us out. It would have taken a couple of hours out of his stay. And I was really excited to go for dinner with him that night and show our gratitude and that sort of thing. But because we got his number wrong, we couldn't even contact him. So that kind of sucked, but there wasn't really anything we could do about it. So we just, went along our merry way. Anyhow, after that day, and I don't know if it was the heat, I don't know if it was something we ate, but I think it was later that evening, Nico ended up getting really, really sick. And he literally did not get out of that bed in the hotel room for like, I think it was 2.5 days or something. Did not get out of bed anything other than the toilet, did not eat once, was sweaty bullets. He seemed a bit delirious when he was speaking to me. And neither of us really knew what was wrong, but aside from him sleeping, he didn't really have any other symptoms. Like he wasn't nauseous, he didn't have diarrhea, anything like that. So we just kind of let it go. So the whole time we were on Koh Rong, we didn't really get to do anything because Nico was sick the whole time. So I just kind of hung out around the resort and drank beers in the restaurant with the Russian owner, Alex, who was really lovely. And that was pretty much it, really. So once our time in Koh Rong wrapped up, we went to a neighboring island called Koh Rong Samlam, which was a little bit smaller than Koh Rong. But again, because Nico was recovering from the sickness, we pretty much just ended up staying at the resort, just recovering. So when we left that island, we took a ferry back to Sanakville. When we got off the ferry, there was tuk-tuk drivers there, some taxi drivers. We flagged one of them and said, look, we need you to bring us to the airport because we were flying to Siem Reap. And he said, if you guys are going to be in Siem Reap for a while, I can hook you up with a private driver. He works for my company. And we thought, well, shit, why not? That's a great plan. So we flew to Siem Reap. And sure enough, we got off the plane and Rita was there waiting for us. Rita ended up being our driver for the whole time that we were in Siem Reap. While we were in Siem Reap, we went to Angkor Wat. We actually ended up going twice. The first time we went with a guide, and the second time we went, we decided to go at sunrise and just go and do it on our own. Just we had some more time to wander around and take videos and that sort of thing. And oh, what a magnificent, I don't even know what to call it. When we were inside of it, it felt like one of the great wonders of the world. It was so surreal and peaceful and jaw-dropping and awe-inspiring. Just endless adjectives I could use to describe this place. It did something to me spiritually. And I don't think at the time I quite realized it. After Cambodia, we finally did end up making it to Vietnam. By the time we got there, we only had 20 days or something left on our month-long visa because we ended up staying in Cambodia later. So we started in Hanoi.
Holy shit.
No, keep the phone.
We were only in Hanoi for a couple of days. Gave us just enough time to go down and check out the French Quarter, do a little bit of window shopping. Had lots of amazing food, saw a lot of amazing buildings. The architecture was beautiful. The Vietnamese people were beautiful. After a couple of days in Vietnam, we went on a cruise in Halong Bay.
Are you comfortable, darling? This is luxury.
Left island will be the center. So most of the cruises stay around the center and explore the center.
Yeah, the water's pretty murky.
Nicholas.
It's under my name, I think. Jennifer
Jen.
Roberts.
Jennifer Roberts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this boat is just the tender that is taking us to the main cruise ship, I guess you would call it. I think whether or not it's a ship depends on the actual length of it. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, nice tender. Am I allowed up here?
Okay, beautiful.
It's okay? All right.
Wow. Oh my god, this is sick, babe.
It's pretty good. We're not even on the boat yet. Once we get on the boat, you'll be impressed, trust me. Oh, that's so sad. Like seriously, how does garbage get to a place like this? Asshole humans. Anyway. No time for negative energy.
was amazing. The cruise ship was beautiful. It was very luxurious. We made friends with a couple of other people on the cruise. We met these two lovely doctors. One of them was a dermatologist and the other was a vaginal reconstructive surgeon. So not somebody who makes designer vaginas, but somebody who basically fixes vaginas after trauma. So tears from birthing, prolapse. Imagine just seeing busted up and broken vaginas all day. I don't know how you wouldn't be gay after that, but that's besides the point. We also met a lovely local named Dewey who was meant to be on the cruise with his missus, but they had broken up. So he ended up on the cruise by himself. So we spent a lot of time with him.
So by the way, they have we know it's there, but
Well, it's not done yet. Anyway, I'm just gonna sit here and wait. What are you going back to bed?
when I woke up,
Yeah, I'm the same. Look at these three girls. What the fuck are they doing? They doing Tai Chi? They're doing TikTok or something.
aerobics.
Oh, I should join them. I love aerobics.
As well, a German tourist named Hans. That was a lot of fun because it was quite a diverse group. Of course, I was the only female in the group, but you know, that's just how I like it. One of the excursions that we went on was a day trip to a place called Cat Ball Island. Oh my God.
Oh! Careful. I'm dodging bees and butterflies. Yeah. Wave. Mangroves.
we were on Cat Ba Island, we did lots of cool things, and we thought it was so beautiful that instead of going back to Hanoi at the end of the cruise, we decided to ask the captain of the ship if he wouldn't mind dropping us back at Cat Ba Island so we could carry on our holiday. That's where we left the cruise. We went to Cat Ba National Park where we did some hiking.
Where are we going, Jen?
We are going to Cat Ba National Park. We don't know too much about it, as usual. But that's okay, because sometimes that makes traveling more fun.
Wow. Well, it's longer, 45 minutes is tough. Really there.
Yeah, that's what I thought, the fucking Tiger Temple.
Climbed up to some lookouts.
Hi. Wow.
Are we there yet?
Yeah. Yeah.
We went to an old Vietnam War hospital that was actually hidden, built into a mountain, which was pretty cool. A little bit creepy to be in there. Probably creepy because of the mannequins and stuff that they used. That was a really interesting thing to see. But the most interesting thing that happened to us on Cat Ba Island, the first day we checked into our hotel and then we decided to go out wandering around to get something to eat. Well, we walked to the waterfront, we found a nice restaurant and we sat down and had a bite. As we were getting up to leave, we paid the bill and I walked out the front of the restaurant. Nico was walking one way and there was this guy walking towards Nico, right? And I'm walking behind Nico. So Nico's not paying any attention. He's looking at whatever. As this guy is walking past Nico, I see this guy's face and he looks at Nico. He looks really confused. And I remember looking at him thinking, God, that guy looks familiar. And then looking at his face and seeing him look at Nico and looking confused. And I thought, wait a minute, am I missing something here? And then the guy looked at me and his face lit up. Nico turned around and looked at him. And when Nico recognized him, that's when the light bulb went off in all three of our heads at the same time. The guy who had just walked in front of us was the guy who rescued us in Koh Rong on that little island. Can you believe it? Keep in mind, like 3 weeks had passed at this point. We never thought we were going to see this guy again. Like the whole story of what had happened was a distant memory at this point. So imagine our surprise and imagine his surprise as well. Once we all realized who each other were, we were just like, oh my God, thank you so much for helping us. We explained to him what had happened and he said, yeah, look, no problem. Just never expected to see you guys again. A couple hours later, we did end up meeting for dinner and we had the most beautiful conversations about his family and our stories, why we were traveling, and we shared a lot of insight and beliefs and compassion and care for each other. We were all just so incredulous that the universe had brought us together again. There were several times throughout the evening where the three of us each said, this has obviously happened for a reason, because what are the chances, you know? And like, we weren't even meant to go to Cat Ba Island. First of all, we were meant to go back to Hanoi. And also, he wasn't meant to be on Cat Ba Island either. For him, it was just a pit stop to get from one place to another place, and he had to come to Cat Ba to get a certain bus or something. It was just really profound, and we're still in touch with him. He's Armenian. His name is Amen, like amen, which I, think is interesting. The reference to a higher power, I suppose, and this lovely man who rescued us and then showed back up in our lives 3 weeks later. So yeah, that was probably the most amazing thing that happened to us in Vietnam, or maybe on the whole trip even, because that was pretty cool. You just never know what the universe has in store for you, do you? So after Cat Ba Island, we went to Da Nang, and I got to go to the hand bridge, which I don't know if that's actually what it's called. It's a place that I saw in photos a lot over the years and always thought it would really be an amazing place to go. So it was fun as well just to find myself there. So once our visa ran up in Vietnam, we headed back to Thailand. We got another 30-day visa. I think we had to come back to Melbourne early because Nico's parents go to Greece every year. So we had to come back and house sit and look after Gypsy, their dog. Yeah, so in August, we headed back to Melbourne. Right before his parents left, his mom said to me that she would absolutely love it if we would at some point make our way to Greece to come and see them while they were there. So me, of course, being an avid traveler, I took this as an excuse to start booking flights. Because Greece is so far away, I thought, well, we're not just gonna go over there and just go to Greece, because that's not really how I roll. I decided to make a whole 5-week adventure of it, and I booked us flights not only to Greece, but also to Turkey and to Egypt, and then to Abu Dhabi. So our trip to Greece ended up being a trip all over the place. We saw a whole bunch of ancient ruins. We went to a lot of, churches, cathedrals, that sort of thing. Saw a lot of mosques, saw a lot of the countryside, rented some cars. We went to Gallipoli. That was pretty cool. That was a place I never expected to go to before. We went to the pyramids in Egypt. I wouldn't say Egypt was my favorite place in the world. We ended up at some markets there and my knees were showing. Don't do that. Don't go anywhere in Egypt with your knees showing as a woman. Yeah. Enough said. While we were in Greece, we spent some time in Athens. We spent some time in Ithaca. we spent some time in Catalonia.
Plowing through him like a dickhead.
In Santorini. In Crete, we climbed the highest mountain in Crete. It's called Mount Ida. It was the birthplace of Zeus.
Hello from Mount Ida. There's snow on the ground. It is snowing lightly. It was. We're very highly elevated in the middle of Crete in Greece. And we're walking. Did you just say Mount Meru?
Yeah.
Meru? Shit, maybe. Oh my god, I never thought of that.
We were completely unprepared for this mountain climb. We didn't realize how hectic it would be. We were there in winter as well. Nico didn't have the proper clothing for it. I had the proper jacket for it, but Nico did not. He was just wearing a black hoodie.
It's fucking cold. Feels like about minus 10 up here, minus 15. Nico doesn't even have a jacket. We're in the clouds. And we're trooping it up. I got no idea how high up we are. What do you reckon? Maybe you think we're about a kilometer out? How long?
Probably about halfway.
What? Surely not. Surely not. Surely not. Say hi.
Hey.
Okay, say bye. Imagine it caused an avalanche. Look at that stank ass. Oh my god. Oh. Oh.
Wow.
This is amazing.
We made it about 1 kilometer from the top, which was amazing, but we ended up having to turn back because it was super windy, it was blizzarding up there, and Nico just wasn't dressed for it. And being Canadian, obviously I'm familiar with what the cold can do to you and how quickly it can actually turn deadly and how quickly you can get frostbite and that sort of thing. So I just wasn't taking any chances up there. We got about 3 kilometers up and it got too cold and too windy, so we turned back. And now the sun's come out.
Oh, it's so warm. Oh, that's so warm. Oh, thank you. Oh, wow.
Hey, where is it even up there?
Surely not.
It's got. I don't know, man. Can you try and GPS where we are? Or at least take a screenshot if it even picks it up so we can look at it on the map when we get back?
Yeah.
While we were in Turkey, we stayed mainly in Istanbul. But we then rented a car and drove a bit down the west coast of Turkey to visit some of the ancient ruins that were along the way. One of them being Gallipoli, which is famous for the Anzac battle. After that, we went to Egypt. Now, we only went to Cairo because we were only there for 3 days, which was plenty long if you ask me. Egypt wasn't one of my favorite places in the world. It was incredibly smoggy. I don't want to say I felt unsafe, but I wouldn't say I felt safe. So I'll just leave it at that, I guess. Then we went to Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi is not at all what I expected it to be. It was actually really cool. And by cool, I don't mean temperature-wise, because it's really hot there. But we stayed at the Shangri-La, which was absolutely divine. Yeah, I was just really shocked at how modern and everything was digital. And I mean, what I didn't know at the time was the whole city of Abu Dhabi is a smart city, which, you know, I obviously don't condone, but geez, it was convenient. The airports, my God. The airport in Abu Dhabi was something else. It was like being in the future. We got back to Melbourne in December. We stayed with Nico's parents for a little while we looked for a place to live in Melbourne. We ended up signing a year-long lease at the place that we're at now. I'm currently sitting on the floor in our spare bedroom because I don't have anywhere else set up in the house to do this. This is temporary. When we came back to Melbourne, we had decided by then that we were definitely going to be leaving Australia. These things take time, obviously, and all of my stuff was in storage up in Sydney. We figured if we were going to be back in Melbourne for a while, we may as well live close to Nico's family so we can spend more time with them. So instead of going back to Sydney, we came back to Melbourne. So yeah, we've been in this place now for about 5 months. It's pretty much just hurry up and wait at this point. We've pretty much decided that we're moving to Thailand, but our finances are not quite in order yet. Nico and I are both heavily invested in cryptocurrency. Although we are at the beginning of a bull market, we're not bulling just yet. So we're pretty much just waiting for them to go up so we can get the hell out of here. We do have the finances to be able to do it now, but we would rather hold on to that money and wait for the market to explode, because $500 today could be $500,000 tomorrow. We just don't know. So we're just kind of waiting it out at this point, which is not an easy thing for me to do because I am very much a doer in life. I struggle without goals and a clear roadmap and timeline of what my future looks like, which in this climate is pretty much impossible to have, because one black swan event could throw a spanner in the works. So our lease is up in January anyway, so but yeah, because it's just May, there's still a bit of time to go, and we can't really make any solid decisions at the moment. So I had a bright idea that I would work on my fitness while we're here. I used to be somebody who went to the gym 5-6 days a week consistently for over 10 years, and COVID kind of blew all that out of the water for several reasons. And then I just never really got back into the routine of things. So I signed up for the F45 here in Hawthorne. I was 3 weeks in. I was doing really well. I was loving being back. I was starting to feel like myself again. I was starting to see some definition. And then I copped an injury. I threw out my back yesterday at the gym, or I want to say more accurately, but I don't actually know. My pelvis? Not from thrusting per se, but I overextended something, I think, and I had a lot of weight. Well, I didn't actually have a lot of weight on it. It was my own body weight. I'd have to show you the exercise, which I obviously can't do right now. But anyhow, I hurt myself. I'm injured. I think I forgot that I'm 40, even though I don't like that word. I overextended my back and ended up jamming my joints together. About 2 weeks passed, and it was actually starting to feel pretty good again. I thought I was gonna be able to go back. And I went to one of those salt tanks, those salt flotation tanks, like an anti-gravity sort of thing, thinking that it would be good for my joints because it takes all the weight off of them. But the next morning, I was in so much pain, it felt like the injury had just happened again. So that was last week now. So now I'm on my 3rd week of injury, which I'm not loving. I went and saw a sports doctor. There was no permanent damage, so I didn't have that to worry about, which is good to know at least. When I did go back, I did one of those scans where you calculate your body mass index and they take all your measurements and everything like that. And it was interesting because I did this same type of scan almost exactly 4 years ago. And when I compare the two, even though I haven't trained properly anyway in the last 4 years, I've actually lost 3 kilos. My whole life I've heard that, you know, muscle weighs more than fat. And now that's pretty obvious to me, because even though you'd think that I would be thinner and my clothes would be too big, they're actually too small, and like half my clothes don't fit me anymore because my body shape has changed. So everything that used to be muscle is just turned to flab. So I'm definitely not happy about that, because, you know, I've been really fit for a really long time. So I'm really looking forward to getting back into the gym. When we got to Thailand, Nico and I actually decided that we were gonna stop eating meat. We have carried on with that pretty much since then. We have eaten the odd meat item, like we just had Greek Easter last weekend, and we both had a little bit of lamb, and every now and then I'll break down and get like a Thai beef salad. Oh, and when we were in Greece, we ate a bit of meat just because try telling your Greek in-laws that you don't eat meat in Greece, you know, just didn't really fly. We are still eating fish. We're a pescatarian. I've done several fasts. Nico's done a few of them with me, but I started out doing a 3-day water fast. I wanted to do 72 hours. I made it up to 69 hours, and then I buckled because I was cooking dinner and all the smells and everything. I just couldn't handle it. So, and plus I got it to 69. I'm like, okay, I made it to 69. I'll quit here, and at least, you know, it'll be funny because I made it to 69. Blah. I'm a little bit childish. Oh, my mum is coming, and I am so freaking excited. A couple of weeks ago, we applied for the Australian visa, and I was a little bit worried about that because mum's got a bit of a colorful history. But that was actually approved in, I think it only took like 2 days, even though they said that the wait times were like 25 days. So yeah, as soon as she got the approval, I booked a flight for her the next day on my Qantas points. And she will be here on the 14th, which is 6 days from now, which is like pretty cool, a little bit insane. So I'm actually filming this in our spare bedroom right now. I'm dancing because I have to pee. Obviously, this will be Mum's room, so I won't be able to use it much longer. I gotta pee. I was going to talk about a lot more today, but I didn't expect it to go this long. Yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for checking in on my long overdue update, and I look forward to seeing you all again very soon.